like his job is hard and difficult and many hours. And then you sit here and this 2-hour show goes by in like 24 minutes. I can't believe we're almost done on a Monday of 5 days of me and Nico and you here on Writer Than You. Bill is off this week. D-Cell's out for 2 weeks. So you won't have the regular family back for a while, but we'll do our best to keep you entertained in these 2 hours. Huge thanks again to Shireen Williams for joining us last segment as we tiptoe towards the real nuts and bolts of the NFL offseason. I thought the Combine was this week. It's actually next weekend. So we got a little bit before we really get into shuttle drills and 40 times and whatever and who's throwing and who's not in Indy. But the NFL has, as we know, set itself up well where there is no reason for the conversation to stop because there are things that I didn't even get to with Shireen that I wanted to. One of them is Jonathan Martin, who, if you may remember, 12 years ago or so, 12 years ago at this point, was at the center of a bullying scandal involving the Dolphins and Richie Incognito. And just this week, Jonathan Martin announced that he never felt like he was being bullied. There's a lot to unpack here, and I don't want to do it now to close the show. That'll be on tomorrow's show, plus a thought or two on Justin Tucker, who continues to be in trouble in Baltimore. And the Ravens' all-time kicker, who had a bad season this year, is having, it appears, an even worse off-field situation that, I don't know, may bring an end to his time in Baltimore, may bring an end to his time in the NFL. It certainly does not sound good, but connected to Jonathan Martin and Justin Tucker is the one piece of wisdom where we all need to be better at not overreacting, to giving things time to breathe and to learn the facts and to process things in context and whatever. So, rushing to judgment sometimes, or saying you don't want to rush to judgment sometimes sounds like a cop-out, but it's actually the more prudent thing to do. I thought here for a second, because this show is often not just a sports show and entertainment, it's also kind of like a self-help session. So I want to run something by you here, Nico, and you tell me what I should do. Now, and this feels a lot like a D-Cell question. Yesterday I wake up and the lights in our living room, which are on a timer, are on. They're supposed to turn off at 10 o'clock at night, and they were off at 10 o'clock Saturday when I walked past them to go to bed. So they were off, they were on. Other things around the house weren't working correctly. I realized that my Wi-Fi is just gone, and all these things are on the Wi-Fi and all these little smart home things. So nothing's working, Wi-Fi issue. Now, yesterday I had to finish prepping for a college basketball broadcast. Plus, everything in my house is on the Wi-Fi now. We've pseudo-cut the cord TV-wise, so without the internet, none of my TVs work because I don't have any kind of live TV aerial. So, and with a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, I need something to be working at some point, right? Plus, my wife works from home today, so I'm going, what do I do here? Luckily, my provider, I'm on their app, and we're troubleshooting things without talking to a human being, and the system gets me to, your router is just dead. And I look at it and go, oh, you're right. There are no lights on. There's nothing about the box that is responsive. So now I connect to a live person. He says, okay, you need a new router. You've got two options. We can mail one to you. It might come tomorrow. It might come in 3 business days. And now today is a holiday, so I doubt it would have come today. But if you need something right away, you can go to a store and they have them. You can get a new one. And I go, okay, fine. I'm going to do that option. But in the conversation, he says to me that it's actually the power cord that's dead, not the router itself. So I go, well, can I just get a new power cord? Because getting a new router means a new ID and password. So the 70 billion things in my house on the Wi-Fi, I need to go in and change passwords. So to save myself the work, I go, can I just get a new power cord? He goes, no, the stores don't have them separately. I can mail you that, but again, that might come tomorrow or in 3 business days, and you need this fast. I go, okay, I do. And then he goes, all right, so you can go. The store opens at 11. This is at 7:30 in the morning. At 11, you can go. You don't need to bring your old router just yet. Get the new one, bring it home, and eventually bring the old one back. And I go, well, can I just go get the new router, the whole new setup, but just take the power cord out and then return that new router again? And he goes, it's a good question. I've been asked this before. And I understand your question, the point, and I get it. And he tells me that somehow the system is going to know eventually that I'm not using the new router and I might lose my service. But I also don't want to reload a new ID and password into all of these different things. PlayStation, computers, phones, multiple TVs, my Google Home things. So do I just... I've got 30 days to bring the old one back. Do I go 29 days and see if anything happens and then just run the risk of it and just keeping the power cord, the new power cord and the old router and changing no passwords? Or do I believe him that eventually the system somehow is going to get me, so I might as well change the whole thing out and do all of the passwords over?
Sounds like a money grab, if you ask me.
No, so here's the thing. He kept saying this doesn't cost you anything. Like, I didn't have to pay for the new router, but I'm assuming in my monthly fee is folded in like some weird router charge. So I am paying for the router, but I didn't have to give them money yesterday to get a new one.
So I would you do the test trial, see if if it works for 29 days, why would it magically just not work on the 30th day?
Right, and I don't think they care what I give them back. But I guess what makes sense to me from his vantage point is every router has obviously an ID, and like the system is expecting that thing to become active within the next 30 days.
So is he saying like on the 30th day?
No, he actually said that it might not work right away, but it's still working as of now. He said I might have to do all of the complete change immediately yesterday. Luckily, I didn't. I plugged my old router with the new wire, and it worked right away. Everything went right back to normal immediately. So it's working, but he just couldn't guarantee that it would stay working.
So if it does happen to go out on that 30th day, or even let's say it's a week later, 35, 36 days, right, could you just do the other option then and then have to change all the passwords?
Yeah, I don't see where the punishment would be for me in all of this.
Right.
I guess the problem could be that it would happen at a more inopportune time. Like it happened during a workday, a weekday for my wife who works from home and has a fancy job from home. Like she'd be angry with me if there is no Wi-Fi for a couple of hours. Now we fixed this immediately, so it would be a simpler fix. But I don't like breaking rules. I don't like anybody judging me. So part of me wants to just do it and get it over with and not run the risk. But like I'm sitting there going, I just need a power cord. Like even now, can I just send me a new power cord and I'll just like send the temporary thing back? I got to figure this out. I don't know what to do.
My other question for you is, and I know you said you go to sleep at 10 p.m. every night, even on the weekends.
Yeah.
But what are you doing up at 7:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning?
Well, when I wake up at 3:30 most days, getting to 7:30 that's a big sleep for me. Like that's late. So that's when I kind of just naturally open my eyes. And I'm also bad at falling back asleep. So a lot of times once I'm awake, and sometimes that's 4:30 on a weekend morning. The other day it happened to be 7:30. And then when I woke up and I rolled over and I saw the lights, I said, why are the lights on? So then I'm sitting there thinking about why the lights could be on. And then I might have looked at my phone and saw that it didn't have the Wi-Fi thing. So right away, I'm like, what's happening? So I had no chance of going back to sleep then. Because now my mind's just going through all the scenarios of why the Wi-Fi is dead.
That is just mind-boggling to us part-timers who are basically nocturnal for half the week.
Yeah, no, and I've lived that life too, where I was always up until 2 a.m. because I was working late nights. Whether I was at work or not, I couldn't go to sleep, and I would sleep until 11. Now I'm the complete opposite, except this beautiful shift. I mean, I'd almost do something to get Bill Ryder out of this seat just to sit here because I almost don't need to set an alarm, Nico.
Just know now, if something happens to Bill Ryder, I'm going to let the police know that you might have something to do with it.
If something bad befalls Bill, please don't look at me, although it is the likely scenario. After saying that, I assume I'll still be here tomorrow, but we'll see. Thanks again to Shireen Williams for being with us on this Monday morning. We dive further in that NFL offseason tomorrow, plus anything that pops up between now and then. But until tomorrow morning, thanks to Nico, thanks to you, I'm Andrew. We'll see you again soon, Righter Than You on the Infinity Sports Network.
don't let the urge to sing along to that catchy tune distract you from that truck drifting towards your lane or that lane-splitting biker creeping up beside you. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you. And Hyundai has over 120 IIHS top safety awards since 2006 because Hyundai is always working to ensure the road doesn't get you. Hyundai vehicles have won over 120 IIHS top safety awards from 2006 to 2024.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
UBE and PireWare.com are proud to offer the Pirate Nation its largest inventory of ECU merchandise and tailgate supplies ever. UBE has the best prices in town, so that makes UBE your one-stop shop for all things ECU. UBE does daily restocks of Champion, Adidas, and Under Armour. Don't forget to bring your young Pirates to plunder the Crow's Nest, which is the only kids store dedicated to ECU. Plenty of free parking in downtown Greenville. Visit them online at PirateWare.com. Go Pirates!
If you're in the market for a swimming pool and you're located from the capital to the coast, Elite Pools can make it happen for you. They are the Carolina's premier fiberglass and concrete pool builder and renovation contractor. Every pool is built with the highest quality products and on schedule. Visit the Elite Pool showroom located across from Agri Supply in Greenville with fiberglass pools on site and a design center to simplify all of your pool selections. They also have a full service department with pool supplies and they provide expert water analysis. Call Elite Pools today at 689-6557 or visit ElitePoolsNC.com. For pools, think Elite Pools.
The Buccaneer Music Hall is your beacon of music in the land of the Pirates in ENC. Open at noon 7 days a week with live music. Come enjoy sports trivia with me, Clip Rock, every Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, it's live local acoustic night, along with line dancing from 7 to 9 on Wednesday. Thursday, there's a brand new lineup with Singo starting at 8, followed by karaoke with DJ Dog. Ladies and free both Friday and Saturday nights with the best local bands in the area. Finish the weekend with free games and DJ Kids Scene.
Y'all come get bucked
Do
up.
life stresses have you feeling exhausted? Do your golf, tennis, and workouts have your body aching? If so, Kyra's Float and Wellness Studio has your solution. Come visit us at 2800 East 10th Street and try our services like our float therapy, which is a private pool containing a saturated solution of Epsom salt that allows you to float effortlessly for ultimate relaxation and therapy. At Kyra's Wellness Studio, we also have an infrared sauna, cold plunge, and salt and halo therapy that will leave your body feeling relaxed and healed. Contact us today at KyrosFloats.com. Kyra's Float and Wellness Studio. Restful intentions.
We all have seniors in our life who may need a little extra help with technology. University PC Care's Quick Helps are affordable, in-store, short appointments designed for seniors who may need a little TLC to help with setting up a new computer, help with email or passwords, or help with the latest online scam. They don't need to fear technology anymore. Call 252-558-1280 to schedule an in-store Quick Helps appointment for Greenville or New Bern. Learn more at universitypccare.com.
It's a new year at Fish Street Hardware with lots of new exciting additions. Hardware serves lunch and dinner daily, now featuring 9 new menu items: Buffalo Loaded Chips, North Carolina Cowboy, and more. Don't forget about Sunday brunch. Hardware has a weekly lineup starting Tuesday with Singo, Wednesday trivia with DJ Captain Morgan, and live music every Friday night. Also, brand new is the Repair Shop, Hardware's game room, which has dart lanes, pool tables, skee ball, and a projection screen. Come check out all the new at Hardware, and for more information, follow us on social media or check out our website for up-to-date event schedule at fishstreethardware.com.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Jacob Jiggins Cowart, and the best place to go for custom t-shirts, apparel, or promotional items is University Sportswear. University Sportswear hit a home run for me when I needed my custom t-shirts. From start to finish, University Sportswear provided superior customer service and a quality product that cannot be beat. If your business, organization, or event needs t-shirts or promotional help, then you need University Sportswear. Visit universitysportswearenc.com for contact information. Go Pirates.
This is Dr. Dixon from Orthopedics East and Sports Medicine Center. Our practice has been caring for the athletes at ECU and the residents of Eastern North Carolina for more than 35 years. Whether it's treatment for your sports injury or it's time for that joint replacement, Orthopedics East provides the latest in operative and non-operative orthopedic care. We also offer on-site physical therapy and MRI services, as well as walk-in urgent care on the weekends from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For experienced and professional care, call us at 757-BONE or visit us online at orthoeast.com. Go Pirates!
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the pirate nation. This is Eastern Carolina's longest-running sports radio show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show is powered by Greenville Utilities and also brought to you by
Bostic Sugg, Bojangles, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Greenville Auto World, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into our show. East Carolina takes 2 out of 3 from George Mason to kick off the college baseball season in Greenville. Busy week coming up, weather permitting, of course, but we'll talk about that as well. Coach Gary Overton joins us live in the studio, and Coach does such a great job on the radio broadcast. We thought we would bring you on and talk a little bit about the 3-game series, what to look for with Pirate baseball, and we're glad you're here. What did you think about this weekend?
Well, Pirates, a lot of optimism there. I think many things that are very positive and a lot to look forward to.
Should be fun. Back after this on the Brian Bailey Show to talk with Dr. Gary Overton, Coach O's, and live in the studio with us. Also, our YouTube page is wide open. Questions or comments on the 3-game series, they are certainly welcome. Back with more after this.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
Enjoy the warm air, circulating moments after you turn up the heat. Precise control of cooking temperatures. Enough hot water on demand for everyone's shower. The instant glow of warmth when you turn on your fireplace or fire pit. Never having to change a gas tank on your outdoor grill. Experience the affordable luxury of natural gas. Find out more at GUC.com.
Stella Artois is a world-renowned Belgian beer with over 650 years of brewing heritage. Stella's rich, full flavor and smooth finish is perfect for making moments worth more. Stella's non-alcohol option, Stella 0.0, offers the same iconic taste without the alcohol, ideal for those looking to enjoy Stella anytime. Stella, whether celebrating big or small, Stella is the perfect choice for elevating the everyday. Proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can, big taste.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is proud ECU graduate and former baseball player Brandon Manning inviting you to join my team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Right now is a good time to review your coverage with a local trusted agent like me. I will make myself available before or after business hours, and my clients always have my cell phone number if they need anything. From home, auto, or life, give me a call today and let's talk about your insurance coverage and about the Pirates. Call 531-1812 and go Pirates!
This is Dr. Josiah Duke from Orthopedics East and Sports Medicine Center. Our practice has been caring for the athletes at ECU and the residents of Eastern North Carolina for more than 35 years. Whether it's treatment for your sports injury or it's that time for a joint replacement, Orthopedics East provides the latest in operative and non-operative orthopedic care. We also offer on-site physical therapy and MRI services, as well as walk-in urgent care on weekends from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call us at 757-BONE or visit us online at orthoeast.com. Go Pirates!
You're in pirate country, and that means pirate radio.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Monday. Gary Overton, Coach O, live in the studio with us again. Your questions, comments on our YouTube live page for Pirate Radio about the series this past weekend, about the Campbell game coming up on Tuesday, about the Carolina series coming up this weekend, as we joked about it going to break or in the open, the weather permitting, because this time of year, you never know what you're going to get. Friday was a beautiful day for baseball for the doubleheader. It was a little chilly at times, but I think that for the most part, it was a great day for baseball, wasn't it, Coach?
Yeah, really good opening day. And as the day moved on, maybe a little cool at the end, but at the same time, comfortable for the players.
You know, what I should have done is recorded what we were talking about during the commercial break, because that made for better radio maybe. But we were talking about like the rule changes and some of the things that have changed in baseball, the first base bag, and we'll go over that again. But it just seems to me that sometimes, you know, you can always tweak to try to make things better, but sometimes you go a little overboard. And I think with some of the rules, I think they have.
Yeah, and in doing so, a lot of times you'll see it tweaked back, like with the pitch clock. We've seen the pitch clock move around in different variances. At the same time, it's implemented by the coaches. The recommendations are usually from where the Rules Committee takes those recommendations, and to see just to see the double bag at first base.
That's weird.
A little surprising.
It looks like softball when you see that.
Yeah, it does. And as we said, I think Cliff has mentioned this in the past, that in the major leagues they use a larger base, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that would fit the bill a little bit better than the double bags, and we'll talk more about that coming up in a bit. Let's talk about the pitch clock a little bit, because you kind of touched on it, but it forces the batter to be ready at a certain point.
Yeah, in the past it was the 20 seconds, and of course that's been tweaked a little as well with no altercation. Now this year, new rule, batter has to be ready and prepared to hit. 8 seconds remaining. Gives the pitcher ample time to deliver.
Now, does the pitch clock out in the outfield, does it have a different color or anything like that to help the umpire? I mean, he's just looking for an 8 to come up and making sure the batter's ready to go?
Yeah, well, there are 4 umpires, any of whom can call it, but third base umpires focused on that, and it's actually the clock in right center field off of the scoreboard.
Okay, so it's out there, but all 4 umpires can call it if they see that the batter is not ready at 8.
That is correct, and especially the home plate umpire.
Yeah, and you get a strike called if that's the case.
That's correct.
And the same thing with the pitch clock at 20. Then it's a ball.
Yeah,
yeah. And we remember last year there were a couple of really good arguments. Going, because sometimes the pitch clock gets set, and it's not ready to be set, but if they go ahead and set it, and all of a sudden the pitcher's out of whack, or and that can happen. Sometimes it's by accident, but if you got 4 umpires out there, you think one of them's going to figure out, hey, we didn't start the clock right.
Oh yeah, and consistency of the umpire. I mean, how often does he hesitate for maybe 2 seconds before starting the clock, and then others instructed to do so immediately as the pitcher receives the ball? And they're a little better about that now, but in the initial stages, a little different to them too.
I bet it is. Now the home plate umpire starts the pitch clock?
No, third base umpire.
He starts the pitch clock?
That is correct.
And then you go from there. Yeah, that's just, but it does speed the game up. And I think the Pirates have always, historically, I think most of those guys usually, they're pretty good on the mound anyway.
You got to take guys like Ethan Norby, who started Friday. Real quick worker.
Right.
Really, really quick. So there's no pitch clock coming into play, none whatsoever. And you're right, the Pirates have not had that problem in the past. So the game itself eliminates anyone, especially opposing coaches, from slowing the game down.
Yeah, and that's part of the gamesmanship, I guess, of the whole deal. Replay in baseball. What do you think of replay in baseball? Do you like it? Do you like the fact that it seems like, I want to guide your answer, but do you like replay?
I do.
Do you?
I do. And the reason I like it, and we're all baseball traditionalists, you and I,
yeah.
A lot of people are. But same time, what it does, it allows the call to be right. And at some point, and there's actually, and we say this a lot on air, you and I talk about it a lot, but and that is, there's a segment in the rule book that states getting the call right is of utmost or paramount, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree getting the call right. I just think sometimes it just seems like it takes forever, too. I don't know if they're watching a cartoon back there for a little while or what they're doing, but sometimes it just seems like it takes forever.
Yeah, we had a long replay on Saturday, I believe. But
was that the foul ball
It was.
replay? Yeah.
It was. And the angle, anyway, it was very close. Very close. But you rarely see lengthy replays because a decision can be made pretty quickly, and then to review maybe a couple of times thereafter, good. But when you have to look at something like 10, 12 times, that takes time and not good, as you said.
And I think the other thing, too, when you look at the foul or fair angle, that was the ball hit by, who was that hit that one? That was the guy that hit the home run.
Yeah, Peltier.
Peltier. And I haven't figured out how to say his name yet. Is it Peltier or has it got 3 syllables in it? Peltier. I've heard Pelletier as well, and that syllable can't go into that vowel, so that doesn't make any sense. But he hit the ball down the third baseline, and if you look at the replay, you saw a lot of the black rubber pellets pop up from the artificial turf. Now, if that ball hits any part of that line, it's a fair ball.
Correct.
But it was hard to tell from that angle. And I think Cliff said in the postgame, the umpire told him that if they'd have ruled it fair, it would have stayed fair.
Right.
But it was that close.
Yeah, it was. It was very close. I mean, you mentioned the pellets coming up. I think that gave it away.
Right.
That the ball was on the foul side.
Yeah, I think. But pellets could have gone up anyway if it hit part of the line because it's that close right there. So it could have happened. But I think that was the maybe the thing that got him. Do you like the artificial turf at Clark LeClaire, where it's at now and that kind of thing?
Well, I like that, not from a playing standpoint or anything dealing with the game. It just it eliminates any chances of I won't say rain delays by any means, but altering rain delays,
right,
or changing of the game, or having to back games up, things of that nature.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's just it takes a little getting used to, I think, when you look at it, and I just hope that they never go to a full artificial turf field because Wilmington did that and it looks nice.
Yes,
looks very nice. Yeah. But I just baseball should be played on grass and dirt.
Yeah, and we saw what was it, a drag bunt by
yes,
George Mason the other day that hugged the line and didn't leave. That was assisted by the artificial turf.
It was.
So changes in the game occur with fake grass.
It depends on how Joey and the grounds crew, if they rake that artificial turf one way or they rake it the other, and they got to let everybody know which way they raked it, I guess. But yeah, it was altered. But I thought it was going foul for sure. But I think that spin on the ball, had it been dirt, would have been foul.
Correct.
But I think that spin was affected by the artificial turf, and it stayed fair.
Yeah, and Kobe Wallace let the ball go, and I think it was mentioned several times, so would I or anyone else. But the ball stayed true.
We got a question coming in. What was the umpire calling that made Cliff so mad? And then a walk was issued against D'Lo. You remember that?
That was a pitch clock violation.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was there any controversy with the pitch clock? Was it started on time? Is that what Cliff was saying, that maybe it was started? I don't know. Started early.
He possibly could have been arguing the 8-second rule, saying that the hitter didn't get in time to give him a chance to not violate the pitch clock rule.
Yeah. That's another angle on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's it used to be so simple out there. You go out there and play a little baseball, and it worked.
Yeah, and even coaches say this today. It's too much on the umpires.
Right.
They need to focus on calling the game.
Right. And the thing that you see with umpires, and I've seen it, throughout all my years, but, a lot of those guys have great attitudes. They're going to work with you. But some of those guys, they come in and they're not going to have anything. They're not going to have it. And it's almost like TV Teddy Valentine in basketball. I mean, I'm in control. I'm the man, and you guys will do it as I say. And I think that the more that you have that will work with you and come over to you and say, hey, I may have missed that last one. You probably should have reviewed it. I got it wrong. They won't really say that, but you see a lot of that. You used to see some of that in baseball.
Yeah, and by the book guys.
Yeah.
Guys who just, hard and fast by what this says, which is an issue with calling balls and strikes now. A lot of them are calling because of what the track man, which is the identifying what kind of job they did that day, whether track man rules it a ball or a strike. I'm not sure that's the true strike zone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they finish a game and they go up and they get a report and they can look at what the track man had for and what they had and compare it?
They all ask for copies after the game.
Do they?
Yes.
Wow.
Because they like to see, did they miss 12 pitches, 2, 1? Did they have a perfect game, whatever? And, that's...
First game on Friday, that guy missed about 50. I think he was struggling a little bit because...
Well, technology does a lot, and that's one of the things that it can show an umpire by the nature or what is ruled as the true strike zone. How many pitches were missed?
Yeah, that's crazy. And you think there are some, and maybe there's some minor league teams or leagues that are doing this where the batter can be at the plate, ball's called a strike, he can appeal it, and they look at it right away, and they can change it right on the fly.
Yeah, you have to wonder, has there been any discussion or thought of going to a robotic umpire, which I'm not opposed. No. I'm not in favor of that.
No, that would be awful. Yes. And there'd be some bad things happen with that.
Very much so.
But you couldn't yell at the robot. he wouldn't listen. He'd be like yelling at your wife. They ain't gonna listen either, are they?
Exactly.
I was just kidding about the last part. But let's talk about the games a little bit and go in depth with it because obviously Pirate Nation ready for some baseball. Pirates come out. I was really not surprised, but Cliff came out after the doubleheader split and kind of said, "Hey, the narrative has been, we're too young, we're this, we're that." I think the narrative, basically they are young, but I think most of us that follow the program and watch, some scrimmages and stuff, realize they're very, very talented. And Cliff has said it before himself that this is not the same team we'll be at the end of the season. And I think maybe we got a little taste of that in that first 3 games.
Yeah, not only talented, deep.
Right.
And because they're deep, he has time to figure out or to find what the right combinations are. I mean, we've seen a little bit of movement, especially in the infield on Game 3 Saturday. Right. So that's certainly a pleasant thing for ECU and ECU baseball.
Take us through Game 1. What did you think when you saw the Pirates in that first game of the doubleheader?
Well, I totally agree with Coach Godwin's post-game interview when he said he thought that the Pirates were really tentative and a little bit timid. And I'm sure the Pirates played that way for a lot of reasons, but anyone's going to play that way on opening day.
Yeah.
And sometimes the jitters leave quickly, and sometimes they remain throughout the game. And I thought the Pirates were just a little defensive. Same time, thought Norby threw well. Both Norby and Coach Godwin seemed to think that he was not himself early in the game, but he recovered after the second inning. His last 3 innings really strong. And we had a chance to see that Pirate depth in Game 1. Lance Williams coming in and doing a good job his last 2 innings of the game.
When you were a coach and you're getting your team ready to go, and why is it that when the lights come on that some players excel and move up and some players move down and things aren't the same as they were at a scrimmage the weekend before?
Well, there's some that like the lights.
Yeah.
And they're the players you want on the field when that occurs. Same time, it's just a lot different when there are so many sets of eyes watching you and you know it. There's so much media attention that is live versus what's being said will happen, could happen, does happen. And so, just until those jitters or those nerves calm, You can be defensive.
And, I never thought about it like this, but, when you were coaching, you might get a televised game here or there. It would happen. But, the media scrutiny now on ESPN Plus, basically any of their parents that can't be at the game can watch on ESPN. Any of their relatives around the country can watch. So basically, you're playing in front of, everybody and anybody. And then obviously the East Carolina crowd is always a good crowd. So you got, that factor going in. And there's so much expected out of this program. And this is not a program that just goes out and throws out the bats and balls and hopes to win 25, 30 games. This is a program that year in and year out, they talk about going to Omaha and winning a national championship. I don't think the goal ever is to go to Omaha. The goal always is just to win it all. Yeah. And they've got, talent and teams just haven't gotten there yet. But, it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And the players know that. They know that this is an elite program, and their expectations are even that much higher now. Those who've been through it before know how to handle that. Sometimes the young guys don't. But you mentioned highlight films and things of that nature. Not to forget that anything done exceptionally well is going to be shown nationwide.
Oh, yeah.
And any blooper will be shown nationwide.
That's right.
So think of that if you're a first-time player.
ESPN's top 10, SportsCenter top 10, and the not top 10. That's that not top 10 you don't want to get on.
Not at all.
You want to try to stay away from that. All right, we'll dive more into Game 1 coming up in just a bit. We'll take a commercial break. Back with Coach O after this.
This is a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes. The East Carolina softball team earned a split on its final day of the Pirate Clash, beating 22nd-ranked Boston 4-1 before dropping a game to UMBC 4-3 on Saturday afternoon. Shane Winkler's team will host Duke for a doubleheader on Wednesday. Game times are 3 and 5 p.m. and will be televised on ESPN+. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes.
Want to make your day better? Order a Papa John's pizza. Get an extra large, one-topping New York-style pizza for only $11.99. Made into 8 foldable slices, perfect for sharing. See, things just got better, and you get to eat pizza. Hey, Pirate fans, Papa John's is an MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. Go Pirates!
It's Bostic Sugg Furniture's President's Day sale, an event not to be missed with historic deals and monumental savings on hundreds of items in stock, plus 6 months special financing. Plus, get a discount equal to 2 times the sales tax or 60 months special financing. Raise your sleep comfort and save up to $600 on select Beauty Rest mattresses. Plus, get 60 months special financing. Save big, save now during the President's Day sale at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
Looking for the best craft beers, wine, and mead in Greenville? Visit Tub Thumpers Beverage House at 623 Red Banks Road. They're your one-stop shop for a unique selection of local brews, fine wines, and handcrafted meads. They also have your favorite domestic beers at great prices. Whether you're stocking up for a special occasion or just exploring new flavors, they've got something for every taste. With expert advice and great prices, Tub Thumpers is the place to find the perfect drink for any occasion. Stop by Tub Thumpers Beverage House today, where your next favorite drink is waiting.
Tired of the same old gym routine? Rebel Fitness is here to change the game. Whether you're throwing punches, kicking it in kickboxing, or mastering MMA, we bring the heat with specialized group classes that make fitness feel like a fight you actually want to win. At Rebel Fitness, we're not just about lifting weights, we're about lifting spirits. Join a community of badasses who are rebelling against the norm and crushing their fitness goals. Sweat, lift, move, fuel, fight for a healthier, happier you. Rebel Fitness, where fitness meets fun. Join the movement today. Visit us at 3700 Charles Boulevard or visit rebelfitnessnc.com.
Hi Pirates, this is Holden Ehlers. As I enter in a new season of life, it is still important to have a great team behind me. Whether you're going away to school for the first time, getting married, starting a family, or planning for your golden years, the choices can seem overwhelming and confusing. Let the team at Buck Insurance Agency make it easy as you enter into your next season. They have been helping people just like us for over 30 years. Give the Buck Insurance Agency a call today at 877-357-1966. Go Pirates.
Pirate Radio.
It is my intention to commandeer one of these ships, pick up a crew and Tortuga, raid, pillage, plunder, and otherwise pilfer my Weasley black guts out.
I said no lies. I think he's telling the truth.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Monday as we dive into the three-game series to open up the college baseball season for East Carolina. Pirates take 2 out of 3 from George Mason. We were talking about game 1, and it was one of those games we both kind of thought the Pirates came out maybe a little tentative, and that's the thing that Coach Godwin has said from day one. You know, this team cannot come out and be timid at all, and sometimes when the lights come on, you see different things. One of the other things, and we haven't talked about it yet, but Riley Johnson not being in the lineup, you know, it hurts the Pirate offensive attack, obviously, because he's such an outstanding player. He's got a little pop in his bat. I mean, he can really get on base and cause some problems.
Yeah, really good leader as well.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, you're right. What he does defensively, that's a catalyst for any program on defense.
Yeah, and just watching him play last year, knowing that he had 2 bad shoulders, and every time he would go down, it was kind of like everybody would hold their breath, and he'd get up and he'd kind of move them around, and he'd say, "I'm good, I'm fine." But I can't imagine the pain that he's gone through in some of those, you know, shoulder injuries. That's got to be just excruciating.
Yeah, and diving catches,
Yeah.
going out of the park, bringing balls back in. I mean, with his both shoulders hurting.
Right.
I mean, that's a credit to that young man, but you're right. What kind of pain he has, I don't think anyone knows.
I don't think anyone does either. All right, Braden Burris got the start on opening day. He got the leadoff slot, and then you had Dixon Williams batting second. So you had a Green Central true freshman. You got Dixon after that from Conley. Boucher's from South Central. I mean, this is really, it says a lot for Eastern North Carolina, doesn't it, that, you know, some of the high school stars, you know, from the past couple of years playing on this Pirate baseball team.
Yeah, and so many people talk about what Dixon has done, and you're exactly right. And now we get a look at new faces or different faces. Yeah, it's starting lineup, ECU, opening day.
Dixon had the big blow in game 1. Pirates would fall in that game, though, by the final of 7-3, and then they had to play the second game. And I know in talking to Coach from years and years, and I don't know how you felt about it, but doubleheaders are just hard. I mean, and you have to do it if you want to get the games in, because they wouldn't have gotten the games in this weekend without a doubleheader. But still, it's very difficult, no matter who you're playing, to win 2 on a same-day basis.
Really is. And you see a high percentage of times that doubleheaders are split. And to get back up after a win, or sometimes teams that lose, you know, have that extra charge. We could go all into that. But same time, go back to Dixon Williams and that home run he hit in that first game. You know, Pirates were a little stagnant till that point.
Yeah.
And what he did was he gave the Pirates a little spark that carried over and may have been a factor in the second game.
Okay, and most certainly might have been, and he had the big blow there. Bradley Zayak got the start in game 2, and he's a freshman. I thought he really pitched well.
Did, and I think what we're going to see, because none of us knew anything about him. He kind of surfaced from nowhere late, but all of these young arms, or all of these arms that we've heard quite a bit of, I say young, some of them are transferred. We have Porters, junior college, really good arms, some of them veterans at that. But all of these guys will have a chance to see the depth of that roster based on opportunities like Zayak had.
Yeah, and we heard Cliff after the doubleheader. I think it was after the doubleheader. It may have been after the game 3, after the win there. But he did talk about the bullpen, and he said, you know, guys are going to come in, and you know, and they're going to be short stints because we want them to be successful, gain some confidence, get them in, get them out, and learn, you know, who we're going to have later on in the season. But the big word is the D word is depth, because that's key, and you can win a lot of games with pitching depth as good as East Carolina has.
Yeah, and we mentioned Lance Williams in the first game. How about Ian White coming in and getting a close job on actually both games, games 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Another new name that we had not heard of. We had a chance to see Moran a little bit from Liberty, Grubbs, who came in from Liberty as well, but D'Lo. Following what he did last year now, not throwing strikes in his first outing, but getting a second shot and producing well.
Yeah, and the emotion that we saw out of White. I mean, he was, you know, he didn't look like a young player. He was fired up, and he had the whole crowd fired up.
Yeah, and the last name that we'll call here on that particular game was the one who was absolutely stellar. 9 strikeouts in 3 innings, and that was Brad Pruitt.
Yeah.
Now, he's the transfer from Oklahoma, so, again, a guy who comes out of a good program. You know, that's a little veteran there. There's nothing young about that.
Right, and it's weird, and it's different too, because you look at the names that we don't recognize, and we've heard about them in the preseason, but until you get out there and see them and get a chance to watch the guys live and to go, with that. Dixon, of course, had the big blow in Game 2 of that doubleheader, really the game-winning home run. But and that was, talk about a clutch hit, and that got the whole jungle fired up.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not forget, too, though, Kobe Wallace's home run was large.
Yes, it was.
Maybe not at the time. It wasn't the game winner, but it factored in.
Yeah, and the thing that I saw, especially in that second game of the doubleheader, I think the guys were upset they lost the first game, obviously, but they started looking like they had that old Pirate look about them, and that they were, fired up to be there. It was a Friday night in Greenville. They're playing the game they love. I mean, you could just feel some of that vibe and stuff, especially with those 2 home runs.
Yeah, we talked about, I think we used the word timid and maybe a little tentative, but not so in that second game. No, that left between games.
Yeah, and the Pirates were able to win that game 4-3, so you get this doubleheader split in those 2 games. So you go for the series win against George Mason in the game on Saturday. And, when you're in a situation like that and you have Sean Jenkins on the mound, he's the true freshman, and the fact that he's as young as he is, I mean, it's really mind-boggling. And then you watch him perform on the mound, how he performed, and then you listen to him in his post-game interviews. I mean, there's no way he's 17 years old, but he is.
No, not 17, maybe 27, but not.
Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. But we had heard that he was very mature and that he had a strong work ethic. His players, I think, his pitchers voted him.
Yeah. Hardest worker.
Worker. So we could go on and on about that, but much was anticipated about him. And yet there was one thing we all knew. We all knew that he was not going to try to light that scoreboard up.
Right.
Not with numbers, and he didn't. What was impressive to me was his breaking ball. He had a good changeup, but his breaking ball, 12-6 action, and after giving up the one and only hit that he delivered.
Yeah.
That was a home run by a really good hitter, too. And that guy's had a good career at George Mason. But by giving up that home run, after that, he went primarily to breaking balls and off-speed stuff. He was really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And he handled it well.
I thought what he handled the best was in that first inning when Dixon drops the pop-up. I'm guarantee you that if you hit 1,000 pop-ups the same way, Dixon catches 999 of them. I mean, that was just a rare deal, and he drops. And then if I'm a freshman, at 17, he's supposed to be looking for a prom date right now.
Yes.
And he's out pitching for one of the nation's top programs in college baseball. So he gets that, and some bad things happening, but you never, like you said, after the home run, the same thing. Yeah. I mean, he never let it faze him. He went in front of the cameras in the interviews, and none of that fazed him. I mean, he's as advertised, very mature, and really just a real positive for this Pirate team.
Yeah, he can make adjustments, and we all know that baseball is a game of adjustments.
Yeah.
And he did that very well on opening day as a young pitcher. But going back to Dixon on the pop-up that was dropped, and you're right, that won't happen again.
No.
And it was the one and only time. And I think as the ball was trailing back towards the middle of the diamond, I think he might have been a little concerned about the mound, which is not an issue because infielders are taught how to climb the mound as long as you have time.
Right.
When that thought gets to you late.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, an issue occurred.
Yeah, it was just weird because all the talk was we're not going to come out and we're going to come out and be aggressive, and then to get that up and something else bad happens, and all of a sudden you're behind, and a team that is not mature, that doesn't understand things like that, they can get down early. They can get that 2 could have been 5 or 6 or 7 later on, but that 2 stayed at 2, and the Pirates were able to actually went to 3, but then the Pirates were able to come from behind and get that win in the 9th inning. And the whole deal with Boucher was just, I mean, what a great story that is. I mean, a guy from South Central right here in Pitt County, he has family in Norfolk, goes up to Old Dominion for a couple of years, and I think he played short his first year and hit the ball well, played first base last year for Old Dominion, didn't hit as well, wanted to come back. Pirates have a need, put him in there at shortstop, and for him to hit the game-winning home run, and his interviews after the game were just hilarious about the whole water boy thing with Boucher and the name, and he says he welcomes it. He enjoys that banter like that, and And all of a sudden, he's a hero in Pirate Nation in his third game with the Pirates.
Yeah, he said, proud to be a Pirate.
Yeah.
Really proud. But you're exactly right. 11 home runs he had as a freshman, and then to hit the game-winning home run yesterday on Saturday. Yeah, that just means good things to come for him.
And it was an 0-2 pitch, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was. And, Brian, impressive to me, and he and I talked about this after the game, but most impressive was his defense. And I talked about certain plays where he actually looked textbook. I mean, it was like mechanically really sound. He'll help the Pirates a lot there.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that me as a media guy or average fan, we don't see all of that. Whereas you as a coach and a student of the game and been around the game so long that you pick up little things like that. I know the coaching staff really likes him a lot.
Yeah, they do, and certainly high on him and for the right reasons.
This is the Brian Bailey Show on this Monday, going over East Carolina Pirate baseball as the Pirates take 2 out of 3 from George Mason. Next up, that trip down to Campbell, which is always a difficult game for East Carolina. We'll talk about that and much more. Taking a commercial break right now. Back with more after this.
Have you ever seen those exotic aquariums like the guys do in Las Vegas on television? You ever thought about having one of these aquariums in your business? It's more affordable than you think. This is Hal Pruitt with rentafishtank.com. We can make having an aquarium in your business turnkey with no work, cleaning, or hassles for you. Rentafishtank.com creates a relaxing atmosphere and keeps children occupied. Rentafishtank.com already services many dental, pediatric, and doctor offices, plus hospitals and senior living centers. Check us out at rentafishtank.com.
Eastern North Carolina's Bourbon Authority is Greenville's premier American-styled restaurant. The Rick House specializes in handcraft dishes, and our bar features the very best in bourbons like Parker's Heritage, Knob Creek, and Jefferson's.
Join the Rick House for Smokehouse Night featuring ribs, chicken, and brisket every second Friday of the month.
Let the Rick House host your next big event in our 2,000-square-foot banquet hall. It's perfect for wedding rehearsals, graduations, and holiday parties. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road in Greenville.
Beauty Bar Medi Spa invites you to experience the magic of self-care with treatments that enhance your natural beauty. From Botox to fillers, skincare, and more, this is your time to be celebrated. For the month of February, we are featuring our Skin Better Alpha Rit 30 treatment with 20% savings, a no downtime treatment, revealing a more radiant, rejuvenated skin. Your lips, but better? Ever curious about lip filler? This is your sign to jump on our exclusive offer for the month. Visit Beauty Bar Medi Spa at 1021 Red Banks Road, Greenville. Call us or visit beautybarmedispa.com for details. Celebrate you at Beauty Bar Medi Spa.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Danny Beal, and the best place to go for custom t-shirts, apparel, or promotional items is University Sportswear. University Sportswear was easy to work with when I needed my custom t-shirts. From start to finish, University Sportswear provided superior customer service and a quality product that cannot be beat. If your business, organization, or event needs t-shirts or promotional help, then you need University Sportswear. Visit universitysportswearenc.com for contact information. Go Pirates!
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Are you ready for some outdoor fun? Big Rock Power Sports and Marine is your complete source for recreation and marine sales and service. With a full selection of ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, slingshots, watercraft, pontoons, and boats, Big Rock Power Sports and Marine is sure to have what you're looking for in everyday adventure. With 5 locations in North Carolina, Rocky Mount, Lake Gaston, New Bern, Elizabeth City, and of course, Greenville. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram or online at BigRockPowersports.com. Big Rock Power Sports and Marine. Choose your adventure.
Talk radio.
From the depths of space.
The center.
Outer space mumbo jumbo.
Of the talk universe.
The center of what?
Pirate Radio.
We have prepared a planet with a suitable atmosphere.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community-owned utilities mean local control, low rates, and high reliability. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Monday. Gary Overton, former East Carolina baseball coach, the Hall of Famer, 427, 237, and 1 as his record as the Pirate coach. Cliff Godwin, 28 away from the all-time mark. He's going to get it. Hopefully gets it this year. He should.
Absolutely, and looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, that's neat. That means
we're winning.
That's exactly right. That means you're winning, and you're winning a lot. And that's can you take us back to recruiting, Cliff? What you were thinking and that kind of thing?
Yeah, Cliff was somewhat of a late signee, and his high school coach, James Fulgham, had a lot to do with that. And we actually had a need for not really a utility type player, but one that was a catcher and primarily a catcher. And so we obviously looked, and Coach Fulgham and I talked a lot about the pluses, the positives, and we moved in that direction.
There were some players back then that just great personalities, and just can you think back to your coaching days, the biggest personality you ever had? I know who I'm thinking of, but let's see if we match.
Wow.
Biggest personality.
Had some good ones. Winfred Johnson.
That's who I said, Winfred Johnson.
Another good one was Tommy Eason.
Oh, yeah. Tommy was,
Absolutely. Not just a good player as well.
Yeah. Tommy Eason. I saw Coach the other day at the East Carolina game, doing a great job, of course, at Pitt. And he says he's about ready to retire, I think, but he'll stick it out probably several more years.
Going back to Winfred Johnson, though, those 70 home runs.
Yeah.
And 35 wins.
That's what I was trying to tell somebody that story the other day about exactly what the numbers were, because I don't know if you remember this or not, but he was getting ready. I think he needed a home run to do it, right?
That's correct.
And it happened, was it at VCU?
It was at Richmond.
Richmond. Okay. I was in the right city. I knew it was one of the two. It was at Richmond, and I went up to Richmond. I stood on a dugout. It was 37 degrees with the wind blowing, and I got a copy of that home run. And I remember it because I sent the home run to CNN. Back then, you would send a video to CNN, and if they use it, they would pay you $150. Well, back then, I was making $4 an hour, so I needed that $150. So I was on top of that dugout just hoping and praying that he'd hit that home run, and he did.
Yeah, and for our viewers and listeners, first player to hit 60 home runs and win 30 games as a pitcher.
Yeah.
And it went to 70 and 35.
Yeah, that's something else, man. Yeah, that's. Has anybody else reached that? Do you know?
Brian,
that's one of those rare stats that. Yeah,
I'll have to research.
Yeah,
that.
Have to research and figure that one out. But Winfred, and he was just a funny guy too.
Yes, he was. Yeah, and a gamer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when he crossed the white lines, he was there to play.
Yeah,
yes.
One of the great names in Pirate history, Winfred Johnson. And you've had some other ones. John Gass played for you, and he was actually was he in Major League 1 or 2 or both?
He was in Major League 2.
Major League 2. Right. He was in the dugout for the fight scene.
That's correct.
I remember that part. Yeah, I knew he was in one of the major leagues, but he was in and he played third base. We were down in Wilmington one year. I think it was for the ECAC South Championships, or was it the Colonial then? Colonial. And the Sunday got rained out, and we had to stay till Monday morning. And I didn't tell the station. I just told them I'd charge them for the hotel room. I stayed down there and did the noon game. But that was an experience, wasn't it?
It really was. Yeah, a lot of good times there. Yeah. Conference championships won down there.
Yeah,
Pirates.
that was really good too. And just it's weird because the conference has changed so much. Pirates in the American with all the travel and stuff. You guys bus just about everywhere, right?
Oh yeah, and a lot of times they were day trips, day games and back.
Yeah,
those kind of things. But it was a much easier travel too, and that lengthy travel can take its toll on players during the course of the season.
Yeah,
so we were fortunate.
Yeah, I would say that had to be difficult at times, but just some great players through the years. What about just memorable games for you when you think back to your career? What are some of the games that really stand out?
It would have to be those conference tournaments, those championships, solidifying some regular season titles. But my first year, 85, we won that ECAC South.
That was ECAC South, and that was hosted by Harrington Field in Greenville, wasn't it?
It was. It really was. Yeah. And to get there, we defeated in 10 innings a really good Wilmington club. to get to that. And Jay McGraw, home run. It was actually a grand slam home run in the 10th inning.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember that because I was still the number 2 sports guy. Or number 1 sports guy had moved on. They hadn't decided anything. And that week leading up to it, I remember Camp Overton. Remember that?
Yes.
You called it that. You said we go back to the basics and we just work, and then we get a chance to host that tournament, and I interviewed you and Greg Hardison.
That's correct.
Back to back, and that was part of the story that we did previewing the event at Harrington Field. But that was a long time ago.
That was many years ago.
Yeah, man, that was the start of my career as the sports director at WNCT. But it was just really a neat deal to see how important baseball was. I think that's maybe the first time I really realized it at East Carolina.
Yeah, well, at East Carolina, but it's also an Eastern North Carolina thing, and had been for quite some time, and people were really seeing it visually, so to speak, through the media.
Yeah. And we talked about it earlier. ESPN Plus carries all the games, but back then, you didn't have a whole lot of that.
No.
It was one of those things. And even when you guys played, State or Carolina, it was one of those deals where we had to hope the Raleigh stations would get it for us. And sometimes we were able to make the trip, but it was one of those trading back and forth type deals. What did it mean for you as a coach to beat a State or beat a Carolina?
Oh, it was hugely important.
Right.
Not just because of the nature or their status as an ACC member, but like today, they're in the elite company of, like ECU, they're in the elite company of college baseball.
Yeah. Pirates and Campbell coming up tomorrow. That game should be played 5:00 start time. Well, when the Pirates go down to Boys Creek, it's always very difficult. When Campbell comes up here, it's always a tough game, because I think Campbell kind of looks at East Carolina like East Carolina looks at State and Carolina type thing.
Oh yeah, no question there. And early season game is always in Boys Creek, and the late season game is at ECU. But when you go up there, and as you said, you play on that turf, it makes a little bit of a difference, and it's a different look. Now, Justin Hare, head coach, moving on to Ohio State, a new look this year. I think you'll see the same type format. But the arms that they've had in the past, they've had some pretty good bullpen arms that were able to be showcased against ECU in midweek action. I'm not sure that you're going to see the depth of this year's club. They just come off a 3-game, having been swept by UC Santa Barbara, but they're also ranked, UC Santa Barbara, 21 in the country.
Right, and that's a long cross-country trip to get ready for East Carolina on Tuesday.
Really is.
Yeah, kind of a disadvantage for the Camels as far as that goes, but that'll be game number 4 for East Carolina. Then, of course, the matchup with North Carolina, and it's another banner start, I guess, for the teams. Virginia did lose the other night. I saw one of the top 25 came out today. Virginia was still 7, I think. Carolina may have been 10th, if I'm not mistaken, but Carolina's up there, State's up there. I mean, everybody in this state is really good.
It really is. It's a real good state for baseball. You mentioned Campbell and who we do play tomorrow, and there's some feeling out there that maybe the Campbell and UNCW roles are lightly reversing. UNCW expected to have a really good club this year.
Yeah. Seahawks down in
beat Georgia
Wilmington
yesterday.
Did they really?
Yes.
I knew they were playing Georgia this weekend, and did Quinnipiac beat Georgia?
They did not.
They had a lead. Yeah, I knew they had a lead in that game, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I hope they never come back to Greenville. I know that much. All right, this is the Brian Bailey Show. We're going to take another break right now. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up with Coach Gary Overton coming up for you after this.
It's bow time. Bojangles' new chicken rice bowl is built bold from the bottom up, with classic Bojangles flavor packed into every bite. Starting with a base of our signature dirty rice, we pile on even more flavor with Cajun pintos, then your choice of boldly seasoned grilled chicken or our iconic Supremes. Top it off with a sprinkle of cheese, and if you want to add some heat, add a dash of Texas Pete. Head to Bojangles and try the new chicken rice bowl for a limited time. It's bow time.
Hey Pirate Nation, be sure to have the best and comfortable shoes with a stop at Fleet Feet. This is ECU alum Chris Lunyon, owner of Fleet Feet of Greenville, and we provide solutions through one-on-one service to runners, walkers, and everyone in between. Fleet Feet has the tools and technology to get you in the right shoe, including a 3D foot scanner that measures arch height, width, and more. Come visit us at 207 East Arlington Boulevard in the old Gordon's Golf location. Fleet Feet, we run for you.
This is proud ECU alumni David Price of David Price Construction. As a leading general contracting firm, we specialize in commercial construction and renovation. Whether it's updating your office space, renovating your restaurant, or building a new retail store, our team at David Price Construction is ready to assist. We are committed to delivering quality, value, and customer satisfaction across all of our projects. So give us a call at 919-820-3612 or find us online at davidpriceconstruction.com. Go Pirates.
Life is unpredictable and full of possibilities. Chance by chance, moment by moment, we thrive on fueling epic stories that make each night unforgettable. At Four Loko, we salute those who dare to live in the moment. Four Loko nights should be big, bold, and unexpected. That is why Four Loko pushes the boundaries through product innovation and live events. Four Loko has just introduced new sour flavors, now available. Look for Four Loko at your favorite retailer and at fourloko.com. Make every night unforgettable with Four Loko.
Here at the Holistic Company, we know that life throws you its fair share of curveballs. Like passing that drug test? Congrats. Now you can finally relax, kick back, and, well, light one up. You've earned it. With weekly events like trivia, karaoke, comedy, open mic, movie night, and, of course, all your favorites. Flour, merch, carts, edibles, and wellness products. Whatever you need to legally take the edge off, we've got your vibe covered. Order online at theholisticco.com or visit us at 5th and Evans in Greenville or at one of our other 2 locations in Fremont or Smithfield. The Holistic Company.
At a theme park, you might have to choose between a great deal or the best experience.
Wow, total access is expensive.
But with U.S. Cellular Prepaid, getting a great deal doesn't mean sacrificing a great experience. U.S. Cellular has no hidden fees or gimmicks, and now you can get a Samsung Galaxy A16 5G for free. U.S. Cellular Prepaid. Terms apply. See uscellular.com for details.
This is Brandon Tate, owner and operator of Atlantic Wireless, an authorized agent for U.S. Cellular since 1997. Visit atlanticwireless.com to find a store near you. We go beyond the call.
This is ECU head baseball coach Cliff Godwin, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, working for our community, not for shareholders. Now, back to the show.
Hi, welcome back to our show. Got about 10 minutes or so to go, so we'll continue our look at this Pirate baseball team through 3 games. What did you see from the guys at the plate, Coach? Did you see anything that concerns you? Or do you see things that you're encouraged by, that kind of thing?
No, more encouraged than anything else. I mean, we saw power.
Yeah.
We saw an ample amount of power.
And power this time of year is not easy.
No.
Because that weather this weekend wasn't great. I mean, it was sunny on Friday, but it was cold.
Plus, this time of year, arms are ahead of bats.
Right.
Yeah. But saw that. Same time, saw some emergence of players that are going to fulfill roles. On base percentage, really good. Thought the Pirates did a great job of battling, staying in the box, working counts, but making things happen, and then resulting in players getting on base by way of a base hit. Sometimes they got the pitch they could handle, and then other times the pitcher just lost the zone.
Yeah, and I think it's so hard to read it in a scorebook sometimes, but when guys up there battling and fouling a pitch off and taking a close pitch, but and sometimes you take that close pitch and it goes against you, and that happened a couple of times, I guess. But when you look at different things like that, just the way guys handle themselves at the plate, they certainly weren't out of their league or anything like that. They looked comfortable at the plate, and they didn't get the base hits. Obviously, they probably wanted as far as the total if you have a goal in mind for a game. But still, I think they were able to battle and obviously get the clutch hits when they needed them.
Yeah, and as a team, Brian, let's not forget when Pirates lose the first game, had to come from behind in both second and third games and did it.
Yeah,
and looked good doing it.
And I think that's the huge key, I think, from the whole weekend. Down 3-0, and again, things aren't going your way. A lot of teams, we've seen it. You see it in life all the time. Something doesn't go your way, you start sulking. If guys out there start sulking, they don't win that game. But nobody did. Kept their heads up. They had Pirate Nation behind them because it was a good crowds this weekend for the weather to be like it is. And I think that everybody went home. The goal obviously is to take 2 out of 3 each weekend, right? I mean, that's baseball.
If you do that, you're going to have a really
heck of a season.
Yeah, very much so.
And pitching on the mound, man, those guys, Austin Knight's got to be sitting there thinking like, man, I hope every weekend goes like this because my guys really came through.
Yeah, not just Austin Knight.
Right.
But Cliff can look at it this way. Hey, I can get players in there quicker now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be desired for what was seen with arm strength, players in roles that performed exceptionally well during the weekend.
Yeah, and as Cliff said, you never really know, and you've said the same thing, you never know what's going to happen when the big lights come on. You just don't know how people are going to react to it. When you get that jersey and it's got the Pirates on the front, it's got your name on the back, how are you going to react to your role? And one of the keys, and I think, you had to do it as a coach, Cliff does a great job with it as a coach, is getting guys to understand their roles. And right now, they're kind of developing into those roles. And we've seen it through all the years with, pitchers come up with different roles. You got some trouble going on here. You bring this guy to squelch it, that kind of thing. But this time of year, you're kind of developing all of that.
Yeah, we know what Norby can do.
Right.
But we haven't seen Antillic and we haven't seen Towers as of yet. Two really good guys who entered the portal who came to us by way of other schools. And yet, look at Jenkins.
Oh, yeah.
And look at Pruitt from Oklahoma who came in. I mean, already we've had a lot of pluses on the mound.
Yeah, what Pruitt did was really just impressive, and he was just, and it was very quiet too, wasn't it?
Oh, much. You
kind of look up and it's like, whoa, look at that.
Yeah, you brought out a good point just a moment ago about being down 3-0, but still coming back to win. And sometimes the flow of the game, you're concerned as long as you're behind, but when the other team is only having one hit through the game, you're saying, let's just get there. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
And that occurred.
Yeah, that did occur, and that was a lot of fun. And, in your role now as a broadcaster, what do you most look forward to when you go to the ballpark?
Well, I think the best part this time of year is seeing new players and see how they develop and what type of player are they compared to what we've seen and heard, and what is the ceiling?
Yeah.
Like there's some players that have a very high ceiling on this club.
Yeah, and just getting a chance to broadcast it. And, when you first started, how much do you think you've improved since when you first started the broadcasting? Because I can remember, Coach didn't say a whole lot, but he said important things. But I think now you're kind of expanding, you're kind of more comfortable, and it takes a while to get like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And to banner the game as well as just state it.
Right.
Two different things. But you're exactly right. Everyone, in any role that they partake, you get more comfortable than what you're doing.
That's exactly right. You get a chance to tell some stories, and you've obviously got great stories throughout all of the years of playing, coaching East Carolina, and then watching this program from where you have with through the years, and now with Cliff Godwin as the head coach. But really, it's really a privilege for all of us to get a chance to see these guys on a daily basis.
And to be part of a special thing, and we're not just talking about Pirate baseball,
right?
But all sports. I know you being on the official station of ECU athletics, it's certainly a very rewarding experience, you might say.
Yeah, it really is. It really, we never take it for granted. And working with them, we'll have some spring coaches shows TV wise. Cliff will be a part of that, and we'll have some of the other sports as well. Yeah. But that's always a good time this time of year. And I tell you, man, we start in January with the banquet. That's when baseball starts for me. And pretty soon we'll be in Clearwater. We'll be in the dugout. Coach usually joins me in the dugout. I'll say, Coach, I'll take you to the hotel if you'll just join me. Coach will stay. And that dugout's hot.
It is.
It is.
And it's something we're not used to in May.
Right.
Yes.
You get down there and you're thinking like, oh, it's going to be nice. But man, and the hottest seats in America are the blue seats in Clearwater at Baycare Ballpark. Whenever somebody leaves one down and that sunshine hits it for like 4, 5, 6 hours, and you put your butt in one of those seats, man, I'm telling you what, you talk about a tattoo. That's the hottest thing I've ever been a part of.
Absolutely, and we wonder why players are a little fatigued that time of year, but that heat has a lot to do with it as well.
Most certainly. That's the American tournament. The ACC tournament's going to a different format this year. And I think the American's going to adopt something like that down the road.
Yeah, they've left their pod system, and they're going to a double elimination, but isn't that correct?
I think it's a single elimination.
I'm sorry, my apology. But top 4 teams get a double bye, and
right?
The next 4 teams get a bye,
right? And that way you get a chance. I think that's what Cliff has said for so many years down in Clearwater, that and if you stay in the winners bracket, you can pop through that thing fairly easily. But once you get in the losers bracket, especially when you're in East Carolina, because you're thinking regionals, you're thinking super regionals, you can't afford to go down there and throw everybody in the kitchen sink to try to win the American baseball tournament. You got bigger fish to fry in the NCAAs, and that seems like it's always that way.
Absolutely. That's the big picture right there as to what you do in those 64 against those other 63.
Yeah, that's the part that you got to get down there and just stay in that winners bracket. But that's a long way to come. What else are you looking forward to the rest of this season for this Pirate baseball team? We're 3 games in, got a long way to go. Hopefully the weather will break at some point.
2 things, Brian. Looking for growth. We all want to see that. But in addition, you mentioned earlier about teams that develop as they go, and anyway, I'll just say that the growth is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that too, because when you have great talent, and they have great talent, and you see those guys grow and get into their roles, understand their roles, and really blossom from there. And we've seen it so many times throughout the years that these guys that just come through time after time after time, and it's really rewarding. And it's got to be the reason that coaches stay in it like they do.
Yeah, and go back to what you said earlier about this series win this past weekend. Really good seasons occur if you only win each series, not sweep. Along the way, there'll be a sweep,
right?
2, 3, maybe whatever. But also, you win midweek, and you look up and you've got 45 wins.
Right. Yeah, that's what it takes.
Series wins.
Yeah,
so important.
Series wins are important. Coach, thanks so much for your time today. We certainly appreciate you coming on as always, and we'll get you back in Clearwater for sure. That'll be fun. We'll burn you up in the dugout.
Thanks so much, Brian.
All right, that is our show for this Monday. East Carolina Pirate baseball at Campbell coming up on Tuesday, and then the big series with nationally ranked North Carolina for the weekend, weather permitting, because the weather is expected to be bad Wednesday and Thursday, so we'll have to wait and see. We'll see you back here next week on The Brian Bailey Show.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
Bostic Sugg, Bojangles, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Greenville Auto World, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
Join us next week for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show, right here on Pirate